Welcome to Unveiled Confessions, where the most raw and shocking confessions are revealed. I'm pushing for 1,000 subscribers, and your support makes all the difference. Hit that subscribe button and be part of the journey. You won't want to miss what's coming next.
I swiped right on her because she looked like someone who wouldn't ghost me after 2 messages. Her name was Maya. Profile pic was her laughing in front of a neon sign that said, "You're okay," in pink cursive. She had a dog, a tiny tan mutt with one ear that flopped sideways. She liked indie films, hiking, and sour candy. Normal stuff. Safe stuff. I matched with her at 1:37 a.m. after scrolling for 3 hours, my thumb sore from flicking left on faces that all blurred together. Same smirks, same filtered teeth, same gym selfies. She messaged first. "Your bio says you collect old VHS tapes. Which ones?" I answered fast, too fast, like a dork who hadn't talked to a girl in months. Asterisk mostly horror. Itty stuff. Also some weird public access tapes I find at estate sales. Asterisk, she replied. That's kinda dark lol but cool. That L made me feel okay. Like she wasn't weirded out. Like maybe she'd actually want to meet. We texted for a week. Nothing crazy. Just memes, dumb jokes about bad movie monsters, her complaining about her roommate, me pretending my life was more exciting than it was. I told her I worked from home doing graphic design. Which was true, sort of. I did freelance logos for small businesses and made thumbnails for YouTube channels that paid in exposure. She said she was a barista at some artsy coffee shop downtown that served lavender cold brew and had poetry nights. I didn't care about the coffee. I just wanted to see her in person. So when she finally said, "Wanna meet up?" I said yes before she could change her mind. She picked the place, a retro arcade bar near the old mall. Not too loud, not too dark. I got there early, sat in a booth with cracked red vinyl, sipping a flat soda while watching teens slam buttons on a Street Fighter machine. She walked in 10 minutes late, wearing ripped jeans and a band tee I didn't recognize. Her dog was in a carrier on her back. She smiled, and it was the same smile from the photo but real and somehow sharper. She sat, put the carrier on the seat beside her. The dog didn't bark. Didn't move. We talked. Was fine. Better than fine. She had a dry way of saying things that made me laugh harder than I should have. She hated pumpkin spice, loved horror too. Asterisk, not the slasher crap, the slow ones where you don't know if the main character is crazy or if something's actually happening. Asterisk. And she smoked clove cigarettes, which I thought was kinda edgy but didn't say out loud. At one point, she reached into her bag and pulled out a tiny VHS tape. No label. Just a blank black case. She slid it across the table. Asterisk, found this in a box at the shop. Thought of you. Asterisk, I picked it up. It felt heavier than it should. I took it home, shoved it into my old VCR player hooked up to a secondhand TV I keep in the bedroom. The screen flickered, static for a few seconds, then black. Then footage. Shaky, dimly lit. Looked like someone filmed it with a camcorder. It was a bedroom. Plain walls, twin bed with a gray comforter. A fan spinning in the corner. The camera stayed on the bed. Nothing happened for like 2 minutes. Then the door opened. A woman walked in, mid-30s, tired eyes, wearing a hospital scrubs top and sweatpants. She sat on the edge of the bed, took off her shoes, rubbed her feet. Normal stuff. Then she looked up. Straight at the camera. Like she knew it was there. Her face went pale. She didn't scream. Just stood up fast, walked over, and the screen cut to black. I sat there, heart thumping. Not because it was scary, but because it felt wrong. Like I wasn't supposed to see that. I ejected the tape, put it on my nightstand. Didn't think about it again until the next morning. Maya texted, "Did you watch it?" I said yes. She replied, asterisk cool. There's more. Asterisk, an hour later, a package arrived at my door. No return address. Just my name handwritten in messy block letters. Inside was another blank VHS. Same as the first. This one showed a kitchen. Same house, I think. The same woman making tea. She was humming. Then she stopped. Turned around slowly like she heard something. Walked to the window, pulled the curtain back an inch. Looked out. Her hands started shaking. She backed away, turned off the light, and the video ended. I didn't watch the third one that night. I waited. Made myself wait until I wasn't alone. I invited my roommate, Dan, over. Told him it was some found footage thing I found online. He popped it in, arms crossed, skeptical. The video started. Living room. Couch, TV, a bookshelf. The woman walked in, sat down, turned on the TV. Local news. A reporter was talking about a missing person. A man. Last seen near the river. The woman on the tape leaned forward, squinting at the screen. Then she froze. Her eyes widened. She turned her head, slow, toward the camera again. This time she whispered something. The audio was low, but we both leaned in. "I know you're there." Dan hit stop. "Dude, what the hell is this?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. Because in the corner of the screen, behind the woman, reflected in the dark TV screen, was a figure. Standing in the doorway. Too dark to see a face. Just a shape. Tall. I didn't reply to Maya's next text. Blocked her on the app. Unplugged the VCR. Buried the tapes in the back of my closet. Tried to forget. But 2 days later, I came home from the grocery store and the front door was unlocked. I never leave it unlocked. My hands got sweaty. I pushed it open slow. The apartment was quiet. Dan wasn't home. I walked through, checking rooms. Everything looked normal. Then I saw it. On my TV stand. The third tape. Sitting out. On top. Like someone had just finished watching it. I didn't touch it. I called Dan. He came over. We both stared at it. He said we should just throw them out. I agreed. We drove to the river, found a metal trash can near a bus stop, and tossed all 3 tapes inside. Lit a match, dropped it in. Watched them melt. That night I slept with the lights on. A week passed. Nothing. I started to relax. Then another package arrived. No note. Just a tape. I almost didn't open it, but I did. This one was different. Started with my building. Outside. Shot from across the street. My window. Then it panned down to the river. The same spot from the news report in the other tape. Then me. Walking home with groceries. Filmed from behind. Same shaky cam. Same angle. The video cut to black. Then, my bedroom. Night vision. Green tint. My bed. Me asleep. The camera lingered. Then it zoomed in. Slow. On my face. Breathing. Unaware. I threw the TV across the room. Smashed it against the wall. Called the cops. Showed them the tape. They took it. Said they'd look into it. Didn't seem that concerned. Said without a suspect or threat, there wasn't much they could do. I moved out a week later. Gave Dan my half of the deposit. Left the VCR behind. Changed my number. Deleted all the dating apps. But last night I heard a knock. 3 soft taps on my new apartment door. I looked through the peephole. No one there. Just the hallway. But on the floor a small package. White envelope. My name on it. No stamp. Handwritten. Inside, another blank VHS tape. And a Polaroid. Me. Sitting on my bed. Last night. Reading a book. The angle was from the ceiling corner. The same spot where the smoke detector is. On the back of the photo, written in red ink, "You didn't watch the last one." I matched with him on this app called Pulse. Not one of the big ones everyone uses. This one was new, kinda glitchy, but everyone said it was better for meeting real people. Whatever that meant. I guess I was just tired of swiping left on dudes holding fish or flexing in gym mirrors. So when his picture popped up, guy with messy brown hair wearing a faded band tee standing in front of a record store, I swiped right. He looked normal. Boring even. And honestly, boring sounded nice. His name was Eli. Bio said he liked horror movies, black coffee, and fixing old electronics. No gym selfies. No quotes from motivational speakers. Just a picture of a soldering iron next to a half-taken apart radio. Weird, but not in a bad way. We started chatting. Not the usual "hey beautiful" crap. He asked what my favorite scary movie was. I said The Babadook because it was the first thing that came to mind. He said he liked it too, but only the first 45 minutes. Said the rest lost its teeth. That made me laugh. We talked for days. Easy. No pressure. He didn't bombard me with messages. Didn't ghost. Didn't flirt like he was reading from a script. I actually looked forward to seeing his name light up my phone. We decided to meet at this little coffee shop downtown. The Drip. Quiet, dim, the kind of place with mismatched mugs and sad plants in the corners. I got there first, ordered a caramel latte and sat near the back. When he walked in, I recognized him instantly. Same messy hair, same tired eyes, same band tee. This time it was one I'd never heard of, Static Bloom. He smiled when he saw me. Not too big. Not too small. Just real. We talked for 2 hours. About music, about dumb horror sequels, about how our phones are slowly rotting our brains. He told me he worked from home repairing vintage audio gear. Said he had a room in his apartment full of old cassette players, reel-to-reels, anything with wires and dials. I told him I worked at a bookstore and collected weird little trinkets. Miniature skeletons, fake Ouija boards, that kind of thing. He didn't laugh. Didn't act like I was trying too hard. He just nodded and said, "Cool." You'd probably like my place then. We ended up walking around the neighborhood after. It was one of those perfect fall evenings, crisp air, leaves crunching underfoot, the sun bleeding orange behind the buildings. We stopped at a thrift store. He bought a broken cassette player for $3. I bought a chipped mug with a cat wearing sunglasses. Felt like a real date. The kind you see in movies but never actually happen. He walked me to the bus stop. Didn't try to kiss me. Didn't ask for my number. Just said, "I'll message you." And he did. That night, he sent a photo of the cassette player on his workbench, wires spilling out like guts. Caption, "This one's got secrets." I laughed. Replied with a gif of a detective nodding. Over the next few weeks, we hung out a couple more times. Always at neutral places. Always with me leaving when I wanted. Never pushy. Never weird. But there was something. Not bad. Just off. Like a song playing slightly out of tune. It started with the messages. He'd send me audio clips. Short ones. Just a few seconds. One was the sound of rain. Another was someone humming. Not creepy on its own. But the humming, it didn't sound like him. Too low. Too slow. Like it was recorded through water. I asked him about it. He said it was from an old tape he found. People used to record over other people's tapes all the time, he said. You never know what you're gonna hear. Then he sent me a clip of static. Nothing else. Just noise. Lasted 12 seconds. I didn't reply. He didn't ask why. But the next day I got a text. "You're on one of my tapes." I stared at it. Thought it was a joke. Laughed. But the laugh died in my throat. I started noticing things. When we met up, he'd sometimes pull out a small digital recorder. Not every time. Just sometimes. He'd set it on the table, red light blinking. I asked him about it once. He said he liked capturing moments. Ambient sounds. They're like time capsules, he said. I nodded, but my skin went tight. Then came the photo. I was over at his place for the first time. He invited me to see his lab, as he called it. His apartment was small, kind of messy, but not dirty. Wires everywhere. Shelves full of broken gadgets. The air smelled like burnt plastic and old paper. He showed me his favorite piece, a 1970s reel-to-reel from Japan. Played me a tape. It was just piano music. Said, haunting. I said I liked it. He smiled. Later, while he was in the kitchen making tea, I wandered to his bedroom. Door was open. Just peeked in. His bed was unmade. Clothes on the floor. And on the nightstand, my photo. Not a screenshot. A printed photo. 4x6. Me laughing at the coffee shop holding my latte. The exact moment I took that photo, I remember because I just told a dumb joke about zombies and coffee. My stomach dropped. I backed out, sat back down in the living room like nothing happened. He came back with 2 mugs. Handed me one. I forced a smile. Stayed another 20 minutes. Made an excuse about work the next day. Left fast. That night I checked my phone. No new messages. But then at 2:17 a.m., a notification. A voice message from him. I played it. It was me. Me saying, I should probably go. But I didn't record that. I never sent that. I listened again. And again. It was my voice. My words. But the tone, flat. Like I was sleepwalking. I deleted the app the next day. Blocked his number. Changed my Instagram to private. Thought that was it. It wasn't. A week later I got a package. No return address. Small. Wrapped in brown paper. Inside, a cassette tape. No label. Just a piece of masking tape with my name written in shaky letters. I didn't want to play it. But I did. It started with silence. Then, faintly, the sound of breathing. Then footsteps. Then, my voice. Me talking in my sleep. I talk in my sleep sometimes. Never thought anyone knew. But there it was. Me mumbling about a red door. Me crying out for my dog who died when I was 12. The tape went quiet. Then a click. Then Eli's voice. Soft. Come. You're on one of my tapes. I threw the cassette across the room. Unplugged my landline. Checked my windows. Slept with the lights on. 2 days after that, I was at work, shelving books in the horror section. A customer handed me a book to ring up. I glanced at the cover. The girl on the tape. Some obscure thriller from the 80s. I flipped it over. The back cover had a photo of a cassette with a girl's face printed on it. The girl looked like me. I dropped the book. The cashier laughed. Weird, right? Came in a donation box this morning. No clue how it got here. I didn't go back to that store. I moved. Changed my number. Got a new email. Tried to forget. But sometimes late at night my laptop makes a noise. Like a tape rewinding. and my webcam light flickers on for no reason. And I wonder, how many tapes does he have? How many versions of me is he listening to when I'm not looking? And worse, how did he get inside my dreams? I swiped right on her because she looked like someone who'd get me. Not in the creepy soulmate way, more like she'd laugh at the same dumb memes, wouldn't ghost after 2 dates, and actually text back. Her profile said she liked hiking, sour gummies, and old horror movies. Her pictures were normal. No duck faces, no gym selfies, just her smiling on a porch with a dog that looked like a loaf of bread with ears. Her name was Maya. Simple. Not M4Y4 or something ridiculous. I matched with her at 2:17 a.m. after my third rewatch of that one show where everyone dies slowly. We started chatting. She responded fast, which I liked. Most people take hours like they're trying to play some dumb game. But she wasn't like that. She asked about my job, my dog, what kind of music I listen to. I told her I like bands that sound sad but have fast drums. She said she liked that too. We made plans to meet at this little coffee shop downtown. Neutral ground, nothing weird. I wore my green jacket because she said it was her favorite color. She was already there when I walked in, sitting by the window, stirring a cup with both hands. She looked exactly like her photos, which is rare. I've had people whose faces were stretched like taffy from filters, or whose hair looked different in every picture. But Maya was real. She smiled when she saw me, stood up, and gave me a quick hug. It felt natural, not forced. We talked about everything: her dog, my dead plant collection, how both of us hate cilantro. She had this way of listening where she'd tilt her head a little, like she actually cared. I left that coffee shop feeling lighter, like maybe I wasn't totally broken at this whole dating thing. We started seeing each other more. Not every day, but enough. She'd come over, bring sour gummies, and we'd watch old horror movies like she said she liked. She always brought her own blanket, this thick gray one with frayed edges. Said it was her anxiety blanket. I thought that was kind of sweet. We'd sit on the couch, she'd curl up under it, and I'd try not to stare at how calm she looked, like she belonged there. One night, she fell asleep halfway through a movie. I covered her with a spare blanket and went to bed. When I woke up, she was gone. No note. Phone dead. I figured she just didn't want to wake me, so I didn't think much of it. But then it happened again. And again. She'd fall asleep, and by morning she'd be gone. No messages. No explanation. I started checking my doors. Locked. Windows too. Nothing out of place. Just her absence. I chalked it up to her being private or having weird routines. Maybe she didn't like waking up next to people. Fair. I didn't push. Then I noticed the gummies. She always brought them in a small red tin. Always the same brand, same flavor, green apple. One night, I grabbed one from the tin while she was in the bathroom. Bit into it. Tasted wrong. Not spoiled, just off. Like it had been sitting in a hot car. I threw it out, didn't say anything. But the next time she came over, I watched her. She opened the tin, took one out, popped it in her mouth. Her jaw moved slow, like she wasn't really tasting it. After she left, I checked the trash. The wrapper was there. But the gummy wasn't. She hadn't chewed it. She just held it in her mouth and spit it out later. That's when I started paying attention. I noticed she never ate when I was looking. Never drank from open cups. Always carried a water bottle with a tight lid. She'd take sips when she thought I wasn't watching, but never in front of me. And she never used my bathroom. Not once. Said she didn't have to go. That's impossible. Everyone has to go. I started setting up my phone in the living room when she came over. Not filming her, just leaving it on the coffee table, screen facing up, recording in my notes app. Passive. Normal. One night after she fell asleep, I checked the recording. Watched her stir, sit up slowly, look around. Then she walked to the kitchen. Opened the fridge. Took out my leftovers. Ate them standing up, fast, like she was scared someone would catch her. Then she wiped her mouth, put the container back, and went to the bathroom. But instead of closing the door, she left it cracked. I leaned in closer to the screen. She wasn't peeing. She was brushing her teeth with my toothbrush. Then she opened the medicine cabinet, took out my painkillers, and dumped a few into her palm. Swallowed them dry. Put the bottle back. Closed the cabinet. Went back to the couch. Lay down. Pulled the blanket over her. I didn't sleep that night. The next day I acted normal. We went for a walk. She held my hand. Smiled like nothing was wrong. I wanted to ask. Wanted to say, "Why did you eat my food? Why did you take my pills?" But I didn't. I was scared of what she'd say. Or worse, what she wouldn't say. I started hiding my stuff. Locked the medicine cabinet. Put my food in containers with lids. Changed the toothbrush. The next time she came over, she brought the gummies. We watched a movie. She fell asleep. I waited. Checked the phone. She didn't go to the kitchen. Didn't go to the bathroom. Just lay there. But around 3 a.m. she got up. Walked to the door. Tried the handle. It was locked. She stood there for a full minute, hand on the knob, not moving. Then she went to the window. Lifted the corner of the curtain. Looked out. Then she turned and stared at my room. I was lying in bed, pretending to sleep, heart slamming. I could feel her looking. Not at the door. Not at the street. At me. I changed the locks the next day. I told her I couldn't see her anymore. Said I was focusing on myself. She didn't argue. Just nodded, hugged me, and left. I thought that was it. But then I started finding things. A red gummy tin on my doorstep. Empty. My favorite hoodie missing. Then it showed up folded on the bench at the park where we walked. One morning, my dog wouldn't go into the backyard. Kept barking at the fence. I went out to check. Scratches on the wood. Fresh. And buried under the mulch near the back gate, my old toothbrush. The one I'd thrown away. I called the cops. They came. Looked around. Said unless she broke in or threatened me, there was nothing they could do. Told me to get a camera. I did. One night I checked the app. There she was. Standing at the edge of my backyard wearing my hoodie. Just standing. Staring at the house. She didn't move for 20 minutes. Then she reached into her pocket, pulled out something small and placed it on the ground near the gate. Walked away. I went out the next morning. It was a green apple gummy. Wrapped in foil. Still sticky. I stopped going outside at night. Started sleeping with the lights on. My dog won't go near the back door anymore. Whines when I try to open it. Last week I got a package. No return address. Inside was a blanket. Gray. Frayed edges. Her anxiety blanket. Folded neatly. And underneath it, a note. Not typed. Handwritten. Just 2 words. Still here. I haven't opened the package. It's sitting in my closet. I can hear it sometimes. Not a sound. Just the feeling. Like something's breathing under the clothes. I moved out last weekend. Left everything. Didn't tell anyone where I was going. Changed my number. Deleted the app. But sometimes when I'm walking down the street, I see a flash of gray. Or someone with a red tin in their hand. And I freeze. Because I know she's not just following me. She's waiting. And she's patient. I swiped right on her because she looked like someone who'd actually get me. Not the LOL same type. The real kind. Her profile said she liked long walks, bad horror movies, and making weird pasta shapes. Her pictures were normal. No duck faces, no gym selfies, just her laughing at a dog, her holding a coffee, her in front of a mural that I swear I'd seen near my cousin's place in the city. Her name was Maya. Simple. Not Maya Cherry Blossom Crescent Moon Sparkles, or some extra nonsense. I matched with her at 2:14 a.m. after my 3rd soda and a failed attempt to sleep. She messaged first. You look like the type who'd burn toast on purpose just to have an excuse to eat cereal. I laughed. Not the fake kind. The real snorty one. I replied, only if the cereal is chocolate. We went back and forth for hours. Not the awkward, hey how's your day crap. Actual stuff. Like how she hated the sound of people chewing, how I can't stand when people say, to the moon and back, how we both thought pineapple belonged on pizza even if the internet wanted us dead for it. We agreed to meet at this tiny bookstore cafe downtown. The kind with crooked shelves and a cat that naps behind the register. I got there early, ordered a black coffee, and tried not to look like a creep scanning every entrance. When she walked in, it was like my brain hit pause. She looked exactly like her photos. That's rare. Her hair was messy in a way that looked intentional but wasn't. She wore a faded band tee I didn't recognize and jeans with paint stains. She smiled and it reached her eyes. Not the polite kind. The real one. We talked for 2 hours. About books we pretended to read in high school, about the worst jobs we'd had. I bagged groceries, she worked at a pet store and once had to clean up after a parrot exploded a cracker bag. About how we both still used flip phones sometimes just to feel less like zombies. We ended up walking around the neighborhood after. No plan. Just talking. She pointed out graffiti I'd walked past 100 times but never noticed. She knew the names of every stray cat in the area. Said she fed them sometimes. We stopped at a bodega, bought cheap soda and gummy worms. She ate them one by one, twisting the tails like they were tiny pretzels. I thought it was cute. Weird but cute. We made plans to hang out again. Nothing fancy. Just a movie night at her place. She lived in a converted warehouse loft near the river. Said it was noisy but had great light. When I got there, the building looked like it had been forgotten by time. Brick, rusted fire escape, windows covered in grime. Her apartment was on the 4th floor. No elevator. I knocked. She opened the door barefoot, wearing sweatpants and a hoodie 2 sizes too big. The place smelled like incense and wet paper. Not bad, just heavy. Her living room was full of stuff. Not clutter. More like collections. Shelves of rocks, jars of dried flowers, a wall covered in Polaroids of places I didn't recognize. She had a record player in the corner, spinning some slow, sad music I didn't know. We watched an old horror movie she picked. Not the kind with jump scares. The kind that makes your skin crawl slowly. Halfway through, she got up to make popcorn. I stayed on the couch, eyes glued to the screen. That's when I noticed the photos. Not on the wall. On the shelf behind the TV. Small frames. 5 of them. All of women. Different hair, different clothes, but same smile. Same tilt of the head. Same way of holding their hands. I froze. My chest got tight. I tried to look away, but my eyes kept snapping back. One of them looked like the girl from the pet store. Another looked like a barista from that coffee shop near my gym. I'd seen them before. Not with her. But definitely around. I tried to breathe normal. Maybe they were friends. Maybe relatives. Maybe I was being paranoid. She came back with the popcorn, sat close, laughed at a part one didn't see. I forced a smile. We finished the movie. She put on another. I said I should probably go. She didn't push. Just nodded, walked me to the door. As I stepped out, I glanced at the shelf again. That's when I saw it. In the corner of one frame, tucked behind the photo, my face. A picture of me taken outside my apartment building. I didn't remember it, but there it was. Me unlocking my door, wearing the same hoodie I had on yesterday. I didn't run. I walked. Slow. Calm. Down the 4 flights. Out the front door. Across the street. I didn't look back until I was 2 blocks away. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I opened the dating app. Her profile was gone. Not deactivated. Gone. Like it never existed. I checked my messages. Nothing. Just the conversation frozen in time. I didn't tell anyone. Not at first. I thought maybe I imagined it. Maybe I saw wrong. But the next day, I passed that mural from her photo. The one near my cousin's place. I stopped. Took a picture. Looked closer. In the background, half hidden behind a trash can, her. Not in the photo she posted. But standing there. Watching. In the same hoodie. Same paint-stained jeans. The mural was tagged a year ago. Her profile said she'd only moved here 3 months ago. I started noticing things. The stray cat she said she fed? Gone. The pet store girl? Quit. The barista? Moved cities. All within weeks of each other. I searched the mural online. Found an old blog post. It listed every artist who'd worked on it. One name stood out. Maya. But not the same spelling. M-A-Y-H. Not M-A-Y-A. I looked her up. Local artist. One missing 2 years ago. Last seen near that warehouse district. Police never found anything. I drove back to the building. Not to go up. Just to look. The windows were dark. The fire escape sagged. I stared at her floor. 4th floor. Middle window. Then I saw it. A flicker. A shadow moving behind the curtain. Too tall to be her. And then for a second the curtain pulled back. Not by a hand. By a string. And in the gap eyes. Not hers. Older. Hollow. Watching me. I left. Didn't go back. Changed my number. Deleted the app. But sometimes late at night I see things. A rock on my doorstep I don't remember. A dried flower stuck in my bike lock. A Polaroid slipped under my door. Just a blank white square. No image. But I know. I know who it's from. And last week I passed a new mural. Just blocks from my place. Bright colors. A girl laughing, holding a coffee. One of the stray cats curled at her feet. And in the background, barely visible, a man on a couch. Watching a screen. His face half in shadow. But I know that hoodie. I know that couch. I haven't slept since. I swiped right on her because she looked normal. Like actually normal. Not the kind of girl who poses with fish lips in front of a bathroom mirror or holds a puppy like it's a prop. Her photos were just life. Her laughing at what looked like a street festival, one with coffee in a paper cup staring at the camera like she was about to say something sarcastic. Another with her dog, some scruffy little mutt, both of them covered in mud like they just rolled through a swamp and loved every second. Her bio said, I like quiet nights, loud music, and people who don't ghost after 2 dates. I thought, finally, someone who doesn't list adventures and tacos like that's a personality. We matched. She responded fast, which felt good. Not too eager, not too distant. We texted for a few days. Nothing deep, just stupid memes, music recommendations, a back and forth about how much we both hated cilantro. It felt easy. Real. After a week, I asked if she wanted to grab coffee. She said yes. Suggested this tiny place tucked behind the old post office downtown, one of those spots with mismatched chairs and zero Wi-Fi on purpose. I liked that she picked somewhere quiet. Felt safe. The first date went better than I expected. She wore a faded band tee I didn't recognize, her hair half up, messy in a way that looked intentional but not trying too hard. She talked with her hands, laughed at her own jokes, and didn't check her phone once. We talked about books, bad roommates, how annoying it is when people say, "I'm so OCD," when they just like clean desks. I left feeling hopeful. Like maybe this could actually go somewhere. We started seeing each other regularly. Not every day, but enough. She'd come over sometimes, always brought snacks. Weird ones like pickled plums or spicy seaweed that tasted like fire and regret. I'd go to her place too. It was small, a basement apartment with one window that looked out at knee level into someone's garden. Always smelled faintly like wet laundry and incense. She had a lot of plants. Too many, maybe. They were everywhere, on shelves, hanging from the ceiling, clustered on the floor like they were taking over. She said she rescued most of them from people who were too lazy to care. I believed her. She seemed like the kind of person who'd adopt a dying fern and nurse it back to life. But then little things started. Like how she'd pause in the middle of a sentence, just stop talking and stare at me. Not angry. Not sad. Just studying. Like I was a puzzle she hadn't figured out yet. And she'd take pictures. Not of us. Of me. When I was talking, when I was eating, when I was looking out the window. I'd catch her phone pointed at me and she'd just smile and say, "You have a good profile." Whatever that meant. Then came the keys. I left my spare at her place by accident. Just slipped out of my pocket when I was helping her move a shelf. I didn't think much of it. She said she'd give it back next time. But when I came over a few days later, she handed me a new key. Said the old one got lost. I didn't believe her. Her eyes didn't move when she said it. Just stayed locked on mine like she was waiting for a reaction I didn't know how to give. That's when I started noticing the locks. Her door had 3. Not just the regular deadbolt, but 2 extra ones. One high, one low, both heavy duty. I asked why. She said the neighborhood wasn't great. But I'd been there at all hours. It was quiet. Safe. And the windows? All had bars. Not the decorative kind. Thick, black metal welded into the brick. I asked about those too. She said it was for the plants. Said someone tried to break in once and stole a rare succulent. I didn't know people broke in for houseplants. Then one night I stayed over. We fell asleep on the couch. I woke up around 3 a.m. to the sound of clicking. Her phone was on the coffee table, screen on, taking photos in burst mode. Me. Again. I sat up. She wasn't in the room. I followed the sound to her bedroom. The door was cracked. Inside, her phone was propped up on a tripod, pointed at the bed. And on the wall behind it, hundreds of printed photos taped up in rows. Me. Sleeping. Eating. Laughing. Some were from dates. Some were from my place. One was me brushing my teeth, shirt off, from inside my bathroom. I didn't remember her taking that. I didn't remember her being in my bathroom at all. My stomach dropped. I backed out slowly, grabbed my shoes and left. Didn't turn on any lights. Didn't make a sound. Walked home in the dark, heart slamming against my ribs. Next day I texted her. Said I needed space. She replied instantly, "I understand. But you left your jacket here." I didn't have a jacket at her place. I hadn't worn one in weeks. I said so. She sent a photo. There it was, my gray hoodie hanging on her door. Except, it wasn't mine. Same color, same brand, but the tag was inside out. And the pocket was stitched wrong. Like it was a copy. A fake. I blocked her. Changed my number. Thought that was it. But then the plants started showing up. First, a small succulent in a terracotta pot, left on my doorstep. No note. I threw it out. A week later, a fern in a plastic bag wedged into my bike lock. Then a hanging ivy tied to my doorknob with twine. I started checking my locks every night. Triple checking. I stopped using the app. Deleted it. Avoided downtown. Changed my routine. 2 months passed. Nothing. I started to relax. Then I came home from work and found my apartment door unlocked. Not broken. Just open. Like someone had a key. I stepped inside. Everything looked normal. Until I walked into the bedroom. The walls were covered. Photos. Hundreds of them. All me. Some I recognized. Some I didn't. Me walking my dog. Me at the grocery store. Me sleeping. Me undressing. Me in my bathroom. And in the corner of the room, lined up like soldiers, were at least 20 plants. All different. All thriving. All with little tags. My name on each one. Written in neat handwriting. Like I was the soil. Like I was the thing keeping them alive. I called the cops. They came. Took pictures. Said without proof of who left them, there wasn't much they could do. They suggested I get a new place. A new number. Maybe leave the city for a while. I packed that night. Left everything but my laptop in a backpack. Drove 2 hours north to my cousin's cabin. No address online. No social media. Just silence. But yesterday I went to water the plants on the porch. One of them, a spider plant I don't remember buying, had a small envelope tucked into the soil. Inside was a key. And a photo of me asleep in the cabin taken through the window. I'm typing this from my car. Engine running. Lights on. I don't know where to go. I don't know how she finds me. I don't know why the key fits my old apartment when I change the locks. But I know she's not done. And I know she's not alone. So yeah, I matched with her on this app called Pulse. Not one of the big ones everyone uses. This one was kind of new, had this weird vibe where people posted short audio clips instead of photos. Like, you'd hear a laugh or someone whispering their favorite song lyric, and you either swiped right or left based on that. Creepy? Kinda. But also, different. I was tired of seeing the same gym selfies and beach pics, you know? Her name was Lila. Her clip was just her humming, low, soft, like she was singing to herself in the dark. No music, no background noise. Just her voice, close to the mic, like her lips were almost touching it. I don't know why, but it made me pause. Swiped right. She did too. We started texting. Not like normal texting. She didn't use emojis, didn't write in full sentences most of the time. More like notes. You'd like the way rain sounds on my roof. Or, I keep your profile open when I cook. Weird, but I thought it was artsy. Mysterious. The kind of girl you'd write a song about. We agreed to meet at this tiny coffee place tucked behind a laundromat in the industrial part of town. Not a lot of foot traffic. Brick walls, flickering sign, the kind of spot you'd only know about if you lived nearby. I got there early, sat by the window, sipping a flat iced coffee and scrolling through my phone, pretending I wasn't nervous. She walked in 10 minutes late. Wore a long gray coat, dark hair pulled back, no makeup. Looked exactly like her one profile photo. The only one she had, which was her standing in front of a bookshelf, holding a candle. She didn't smile. Just slid into the seat across from me, placed a small brown paper bag on the table and said nothing. I tried to make small talk. Asked about the humming clip. She tilted her head like she was listening to something far away, then said, I only record when I'm alone. It's not for everyone. That shut me up fast. She opened the bag and pulled out a cassette tape. Plain white label, no writing. Placed it between us like it was a peace offering. I stared at it. She said, you'll listen. Later. At home. Her voice was flat, no emotion. Not demanding, not sweet. Just stating a fact. I took it. Didn't know what else to do. That night, I popped it into my old tape player, the one I kept for nostalgia buried under clothes in my closet. Pressed play. It was her voice again. But not humming. Talking. Quiet, slow, like she was telling a secret to someone in bed. She described my apartment. Not generally. Not looks cozy or whatever. She said the crack in the ceiling above my bed shaped like Florida. She mentioned the sticky drawer in my nightstand. The way the bathroom light flickers when you turn it on after 11 p.m. She talked about the smell of my shampoo on the towel I left on the floor last Tuesday. My stomach dropped. I paused it. Checked the door. Locked. Looked out the window. Nothing. But I felt watched. Not like someone was outside. Like they'd already been inside. Like they knew the shape of my sheets. I didn't sleep. Played it again. And again. Each time she added something new. The coffee stain on the corner of my journal. The loose tile near the fridge. The way I leave my keys on the kitchen counter, right next to the fruit bowl. I deleted the app the next morning. Blocked her number. Changed my locks. Told myself it was a prank. A weird, elaborate joke. But part of me wondered, how did she know about the fruit bowl? I'd never posted a photo of my kitchen. 2 days later, another package arrived. No return address. Just my name handwritten. Inside was a photo. Me. Sleeping. taken from the corner of my room. Not blurry, not dark, clear. My face relaxed, mouth slightly open, blanket kicked off. The date stamp said 3 a.m. 2 nights ago. I didn't remember turning on my laptop, but I checked. The camera light had been on for exactly 17 minutes. I unplugged the laptop, taped the camera, sat in the living room with a kitchen knife on my lap until sunrise. Then I did something stupid. I texted her. "How did you get in?" She replied instantly. "You left the window open last week, when you were grilling." I didn't grill last week, but I checked the fire escape anyway. The window latch was broken. Not from the outside, bent from the inside like someone had climbed in and forced it shut behind them. I called the cops. They came, took notes, said they'd check nearby cameras. One of them asked if I'd been drinking, like I imagined it. After they left, I tore the apartment apart. Looked under the bed, behind the fridge, inside every cabinet. Nothing. But in the back of my closet, behind a stack of old shoes, I found a small black device. Square with a blinking red light. A camera. Not mine. I smashed it with a hammer. Still didn't feel safe. I started sleeping at my friend's place. Told her I was having plumbing issues. She didn't ask questions. I stayed there for 5 nights. On the 6th, I came back to grab more clothes. The apartment was cold. Lights off. I flipped the switch. Nothing. Power was out. I pulled out my phone for light, stepped inside, and froze. The cassette tape was on my pillow. Again. Same brown bag. Same unmarked label. I didn't touch it. Backed out. Locked the door. Didn't go back for 3 days. When I finally did, after hiring a guy to sweep for bugs, after changing my number, after telling myself I was overreacting, the place looked normal. Clean. No signs of entry. No cameras. The window was fixed. I tried to move on. Got a new routine. Avoided Pulse. Avoided dating apps completely. Started jogging in the mornings. Kept to myself. Then last week I was at the library sitting in the quiet section, reading some dumb self-help book to distract myself when I saw her. Lila. Sitting 2 tables over. Same coat. Same hair. She wasn't looking at me. Just reading. A thick, old-looking book with no title. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Watched her for 10 minutes. She turned a page. Adjusted her sleeve. Never looked up. Then she stood. Placed the book back on the shelf. Walked out. I waited 5 minutes before going to the shelf. Found the book. It was blank. Every page. White. Except the last one. On it, a single sentence written in pencil. "I like how you smell when you're scared." I threw the book in the trash. Ran home. Checked every room. Every closet. Every corner. Everything was fine. But that night I heard it. From the other room. The tape player. Playing on its own. Her voice, soft, humming that same tune from her profile. I stood in the doorway, heart slamming, and saw it. The cassette was in the machine. And the record button was pressed. It had been recording. For 17 minutes. I matched with him on Nova Circle, a stupid app one downloaded at 2 a.m. after watching some trashy true crime doc about people meeting online and vanishing. I didn't think I'd be one of them. I just wanted someone to text back. Someone who didn't know my mom's cooking or my weird laugh or how I still sleep with the hallway light on. Someone new. His name was Dylan. Profile pic showed him grinning in front of a waterfall, backpack on, sun in his hair. Bio said he liked hiking, dogs, and making pancakes on Sundays. Nothing weird. Nothing too intense. Just normal. The kind of normal I didn't have anymore since college ended and everyone scattered like dropped marbles. We messaged for 3 days. Nothing crazy. He asked about my job, freelance graphic design. I asked about his, wildlife photographer. He sent a photo of his dog, a scruffy little mutt named Waffles. I sent one of my cat, Miso Midyan. Everything felt fine. Too fine maybe. Like when your phone battery says 1% but somehow lasts another 2 hours. You know it's going to die but you keep using it anyway. We decided to meet at this coffee shop downtown, The Roost. It had big windows, always full of people with laptops and iced lattes. Safe. Public. I told my roommate I was going, left my location shared for an hour. Just in case. Not because I thought anything would happen. Just because the internet taught me to be paranoid. He was already there when I arrived. Wore a gray hoodie, jeans, one of those canvas tote bags slung over his shoulder. Looked exactly like his pictures, which felt like a win. No catfishing. No awkward height differences. He stood up when I walked in, smiled, and said my name like he'd been saying it in his head all morning. We talked. About nothing. About everything. Movies, dumb TikTok trends, how much we both hated cilantro. He laughed at my jokes. Not the fake kind. The real one where your nose scrunches and you have to catch your breath. I liked that. I liked how he didn't try to impress me. How he didn't bring up his job like it was some big deal. How he asked about my designs and actually listened when I explained the color theory behind a logo I made for a vegan bakery. When the coffee ran out, he asked if I wanted to walk. Just around the block. The sun was still up. The air was warm. I said yes. We ended up at a park near the river, Willow Bend. Quiet for a Saturday. A few people walking dogs, a couple tossing a frisbee, kids on bikes. He knew the trails. Led me down a path I'd never seen before, one that curved behind some trees and opened up to a little wooden bridge over a slow-moving part of the water. This is my favorite spot, he said. Found it last year when I was shooting herons. I believed him. It was peaceful. Birds chirping. Water trickling. The kind of place you'd bring someone if you actually liked them. Then he asked if I wanted to see something cool. Of course I said yes. He pulled out his phone, opened a folder labeled private. Not password protected. Just sitting there. Inside were videos. Dozens of them. All titled with girls' names and dates. Mine was already in there. Maya, 6/14, first meet. My stomach dropped. I clicked one. A girl sitting on a bench, laughing. It was the same park. Same bridge. Same hoodie Dylan was wearing. She looked happy. Then the camera zoomed in. Her face. Her hands. Her shoes. Her ring. The video ended. Another one. Different girl. Same bench. Same laugh. Same hoodie. I looked at him. He wasn't looking at me. He was watching the water. I clicked another. This one was longer. The girl got up, started walking. The camera followed. Not from behind. From the side. Like he was walking with her. But in the footage he wasn't there. Just her. Talking. Smiling. Then she turned, said something to someone off camera. Then, cut. Next video. Same girl. In a parking garage. She's unlocking her car. The camera gets closer. Zooms in on her key fob. The light blinks. The door opens. Then, cut. I couldn't breathe. I scrolled. More names. More dates. All recent. All places I'd been. The roost. The park. The trail. Even the damn vegan bakery where I got my logo made. Then I saw it. A video of me. From 2 days ago. I was sitting on my couch, miso curled in my lap. I was scrolling on my phone. Wearing the same sweater. The angle was from outside the window. My living room window. He didn't follow me home. He was already there. I stood up. Dropped the phone. It landed in the grass, screen cracked, still playing the video of me on the couch. Still showing my face. My cat. My stupid floral throw blanket. Dylan didn't move. I started walking. Fast. Not running. Not yet. Just walking. Like if I stayed calm, nothing bad would happen. He didn't follow. I got to the main path. Then the street. Then a gas station. I went inside, bought a soda I didn't want, and asked the clerk to call me an Uber. I sat in the corner, back to the wall, eyes on the door. The Uber came. I got in. Told the driver to go to my apartment, then changed my mind. Told him to go to the police station instead. I showed them the videos. They looked. They took notes. They said they'd look into it. But there was no proof he broke in. No fingerprints. No forced entry. My windows were locked. My door had the same deadbolt. Miso was fine. Nothing was missing. They said without concrete evidence, there wasn't much they could do. I didn't sleep that night. I moved the couch. Covered the windows with towels. Changed my number. Deleted the app. Blocked him everywhere. But 2 days later, I found a package at my door. No return address. Inside was a small wooden box. Carved. Smooth. Inside a USB drive. I didn't plug it in. I threw it in the freezer. Like it was contaminated. But last night I did it. I plugged it in. The folder was named Maya, Final. Inside was a video. Me. In my bedroom. Dark. I was asleep. Miso on the pillow beside me. The camera moved. Slow. Quiet. Panned across the room. My desk. My sketches. My half-finished design for the bakery. Then it stopped on my nightstand, where my phone was charging. Screen lit up. With a notification. From Nova Circle. You have a new message from Dylan. I unplugged the drive. Broke it with a hammer. Threw the pieces in different trash cans across the city. I packed a bag. Took Miso. Drove 3 hours north to my cousin's cabin. No internet. No cell service. Just trees and a lake and silence. I thought I was safe. But yesterday I went for a walk. Found a trail. Followed it to a small clearing. There was a bench. And on it, a single pancake. Still warm. And beside it, a sticky note. Asterisk, hope you like maple. D asterisk. I didn't touch it. I ran back. Packed the car. Drove until I saw a gas station. Same brand as the one in the city. Same layout. I went inside. The clerk looked up. And behind the counter, hanging on a hook, was a gray hoodie. With a dog tag clipped to the zipper. It said Waffles. I matched with him on a whim. My thumb swiped right before my brain could catch up, probably because his pictures didn't scream, serial killer, or mom still does his laundry. He looked normal. Like annoyingly normal. Smiling in front of a pumpkin patch, holding a golden retriever, one of him grilling at what looked like a backyard barbecue. His bio said he liked hiking, tacos, and bad horror movies. I remember thinking, asterisk, oh great, another guy who thinks he's deep because he watches the Blair Witch Project and calls it art. Asterisk, but whatever. I was bored. My friends were all in relationships or too busy pretending to care about their online side hustles. So I replied to his, hey, you seem cool, with a lazy same lol, and we started texting. It started harmless. We talked about dumb stuff, favorite chips, he said Cool Ranch, which is a crime, but I let it slide. Whether pineapple belongs on pizza, he said no, so points, and how both of us hate when people chew loudly. He made a joke about wanting to date someone who doesn't snore, and I joked back that I sleep with earplugs and a sleep mask like an old lady. He said, perfect. I'll bring the white noise machine. Cute. Not cringe cute. Just normal cute. The kind that makes you think maybe this one won't ghost me after 2 dates. We decided to meet at this little coffee shop downtown, the kind with mismatched mugs and sad-looking plants in the corner. I got there first, wearing jeans and a band tee I stole from my brother. He walked in 5 minutes late, apologetic, holding a reusable water bottle like he cared about the planet or whatever. He had a dimple when he smiled. I remember noticing that. And his hands were clean. Not too big, not too small. Just hands. We talked for 2 hours. He didn't check his phone once. He laughed at my jokes, even the bad ones. He told me about his job at a library, how he reorganizes the fiction section for fun when it's slow. Said he once spent an entire shift alphabetizing cookbooks by author's first name just to mess with people. I thought that was weirdly charming. We agreed to meet again. The second date was a walk in the park. It was chilly, so he brought an extra jacket, just in case. I didn't need it, but the gesture stuck with me. Most guys don't think ahead. He pointed out birds like he actually knew what they were. Blue jay, robin, something about a woodpecker. I pretended to care. We shared a bag of gummy worms he pulled from his pocket like a dad at a little league game. It should have been unsexy. But it wasn't. It felt safe. By the third date, I was letting my guard down. We went to a flea market, wandered through dusty stalls selling old records and weird lamps shaped like dolphins. He bought me a chipped mug with a cartoon cat wearing sunglasses. For your collection, he said. I didn't have a collection. But I took it. That night, I placed it on my nightstand. Stupid, I know. But it felt like a thing. A thing between us. Then the text started changing. Not suddenly. Just shifts. Tiny things. He'd ask what I was doing, and if I didn't reply fast enough, the next message would be, just checking you're okay. Which sounds sweet, but the timing felt off. Like he was waiting. Watching. Once, I went to a concert with friends and forgot my phone in my coat pocket. I got home at 1 a.m. to 17 messages. The last one read, hope nothing bad happened. Not, where were you? Or, I was worried. Just that. Hope nothing bad happened. I laughed it off. Told myself he was just cautious. Then I noticed the pictures. I don't mean photos of us. I mean the ones on his phone. We were at my place watching a movie and his phone buzzed. He set it face up on the coffee table. I glanced over during a quiet scene. It was open to his gallery. Not recent selfies or memes. Older photos. Blurry like they were taken from far away. One showed a woman walking her dog near the park we'd visited. Same bench. Same tree. Another was of a girl getting into a red car outside a grocery store. The license plate was visible. The third was me. Taken from across the street outside my apartment building. I was unlocking my bike. Date stamp, 3 days before we even met. My stomach dropped. I stared at it. Tried to breathe. Tried to think of a reason. A coincidence. Maybe he lived nearby. Maybe he took random street photos as an art thing. But the way they were grouped, separate album, no name, felt intentional. Like evidence. I didn't say anything. Just kept watching the movie, heart pounding so loud I thought he'd hear it. When he left, I checked my door twice, then 3 times. Slept with the lights on. The next day, I opened the mug he gave me. Not to use it, just to look. There was something taped to the bottom. A micro SD card. I plugged it into my laptop. Folder after folder. Videos. All of them me. Me leaving work. Me arguing with my neighbor about her dog peeing on my mat. Me crying on my couch after my grandma died. Me sleeping. Not through my window, through the vent above my bed. The camera was small, black, barely visible. I tore the vent open. It was gone. But the hole was there. Fresh scratches around the edges. I packed a bag. Didn't tell anyone. Drove to a motel 2 towns over. Changed my number. Deleted the app. Thought I was safe. Then my phone buzzed. New message from a number I didn't know. A photo. My motel room door. From the inside. Another message. A video. Me walking into the bathroom. The camera angle was high, like from the smoke detector. Then one final message. I liked your collection.